So hello everyone, this is a video about comparing data sets in statistics, and we'll have a look at an example to do that. So here's the example, and this talks about the age of the first 10 men and women to finish a marathon. And then the data is here, so there's 10 ages of men here and 10 ages of women. And it asks a couple of statements about this data. But before we go into the statements, I need to analyze this data, and typically what I want is a mean value for this data. I want the standard deviation, and I want to draw some box plots using the 5-number summary. Now to do that, I have put this data in my calculator in here, in my Casio. And you might be able to see 28, 34, 25, 28, 34, 25 here. These are the men in list 1 and the women are in list 2. So with the set button I can choose which list I will do my statistics on. It's going to be list 1, so that's for the men. Press exit and I do a 1var stats. And everything I need now is there. I have a mean value of 29.2, a standard deviation of 6.11. Mean value, mu, 29.2, standard deviation, 6.11. I also have a 5-number summary for the men in my calculator. When I do the down button, there it comes. The minimum is 22, Q1 is 24, the medium 26.5, 35, 40. 22, 24, 26.5, 35, 40. 22, 24, 26.5, 35, 40. For the women, the females, I can do the same thing. I'll go back to the set button, but now I'm going to point to list number 2. And list 2 will give me the women. Do a 1var stats again. The mean is 24.3 and the standard deviation is 4.01. 24.3 and 4.01. The 5-number summary for the women is 18, 20, 25.5, 28, 30. 18, 20, 25.5, 28 and 30. Now this is all I need to do my statistics with. With this 5-number summary here, this is called the 5-number summary, the 5num sum, I can draw my box plots. Now I've prepared a box plot because I didn't prepare the box plot, I prepared the number line for the box plot. You see here, I'm going to put it down there, and it's in the way of my video a little bit. So let's do the men. The men start at 22, so that's here, and at 24 the box begins, that's the first quartile. There's a median at 26.5. At 35 the box ends, that's all the way here. So here's the box. Wow, that's not as good as I did it before. Let's try that again. Slightly better. And the maximum value is 40, so that's going to be all the way there. So the women, they have a minimum of 18 there, and they go to 20 is where the box starts, 25.5 is where the median is, 28 is where the box ends. And then 30 is the highest value. So there we go. These are the females and these are the males. And I can compare these box plots. And let me get this out of the way. Can I? No, I can't. So what can we see about these box plots? In first glance, the median seems to be relatively close together. There's not a lot of difference. So just from the median you would say, oh, the women were, you know, not very much younger than the men. But then if I look more closely, I can say that especially this here, this part here, all the way up to 40, represents 25% of the men. And that 25% of men is older than any woman in the race. Likewise, this 25% of women here is younger than any man in the race. So a quarter of all the women is younger than any of the men in the race. A quarter of the men is older than any of the women in the race. Yet the median doesn't matter a lot. Now let's look at these questions actually. The mean age of the men is greater than the mean age of the women. Yep, 29.2 against 24.3. So, yep, that's a tick there. The range is greater among the men than among the women. Well, I didn't make the range, but I can see that the range here from 22 all the way up to 40 is certainly larger than the range of the women. I can also look at the numbers. 40 take 22, that's 18, versus 30 take 18, that's only 12. Yes, so it's 18 versus 12. So yes, the range is bigger. Then the interquartile range is greater among the men than among the women. Again, I can look at the box plot. This box here is wider, it's longer than the box of the women. So yes, I could have looked at the numbers. 35 take 24, that's 11. 28 take 20, that's only 8. Yeah, this is quartile 1, this is quartile 3, remember? This is the median, this is the maximum value, and this is the minimum value, just to be sure. The last bit is about the standard deviation. The standard deviation is greater among the men than among the women. So with that we say the spread of the ages in the men is greater than the women. Is that true? Yes, if we look here at the standard deviation, it's 6.11 against 4.01. So even that one is true.